guys, what's up? My name is Rachel and welcome back to my channel, The Reading Otter 7. So today I'm going to be doing my 2017 book awards. These aren't a part of anything, they're just independent awards that I wanted to give out. Created some categories, so yeah. So the first category that I have is poetry. I recently got into poetry this year and I've read a ton, which is the only reason why I even remotely got close to finishing my goal, which I have completed my goal on Goodreads, by the way. I only did 35 books because I'm an underachiever, so I lowballed. But anyway, so the first category is poetry, and for this I chose a book that I actually don't have. Wish I did, but I don't. I borrowed it from a friend, and that is Whiskey, Words, and a Shovel Part 2, and that is by R.H. Sin, or Sign, I don't know. But it was a really good poetry book. I tab my poetry books when I read them, and my favorite poems are tabbed. And I have never tabbed a book so much in my life. So that's why that one won. The second category I have is middle grade. And I read a couple middle grade, mainly just Rick Riordan, let's be honest. So this was more of the which Rick Riordan book did I like better. But I'm going to give that award to Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, Book 2, which is The Hammer of Thor. I read The Trials of Apollo this year as well, the first one, The Hidden Oracle. And I really liked it. I actually read that one first. But this one just kind of took the cake for me. I think the humor in it was better, the story was really good, progressed a lot better, so it won. The next category is the favorite book that I reread. I only reread a couple books, so this was kind of cheating. But I'm gonna go with Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. It took us forever to read this one. We started it last year and we just finished it. I was reading it with my sister and we were reading it together. But I loved this one, and it won for me just because it was so much fun to go back to this world, and it never gets old. No matter how many times I've read this book, I always fall right back in with the characters, so yeah. The next category is contemporary, and this year, if you've been on my channel at all, this should not surprise you, and that is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sinha Menon. This book was just so cute, and it's always been one of my favorite books all year, and you really can't beat it. It's just good, clean fun, so it won. The next one is my favorite memoir. I read a lot of memoirs, I really enjoy them. Generally they're comedic memoirs, comedians have written them, so they're twice as fun. I actually read a couple this year that weren't comedians, but a comedian one, clearly. So the one that wins this category is Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. This was so cute. I listened to the audiobook and I think that really enhanced the experience for me, but I loved it so much that I had to go out and buy a hard copy, because she's always reference picture 23, and I'm like, what's picture 23? So I had to go out and buy this book. But yeah, it was super fun. If you have not read this, you really need to. Lauren Graham's narrative is amazing. Especially if you like Gilmore Girls, and I would highly, highly recommend the audiobook if you can do it, because it's just so much more fun when the authors bring their own works to life. I think that's another reason why I enjoy reading memoirs so much, because you can get the audiobooks and they're normally done by the author, which is twice as fun. This next category is science fiction. I actually didn't read a whole lot of other than contemporary poetry and memoirs this year, so I was just gonna do a group of science fiction and fantasy together and just pick, but I found out that I have a lot of books that are kind of sci-fi-ish that I really enjoyed, and I was like, I can't pick one, so I split it. So my fantasy book's kind of sci-fi, but whatever. But for this category, sci-fi specifically, I'm going to give that to Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the first book in the Illuminae files. I also read Gemina this year, which was really good, but I like the characters in Illuminae better. I enjoy them more, they're funnier to me, and parts of Gemina were just really hard for me to read because it was kind of gross. So I prefer this one. But they're both amazing and you need to read them, and Obsidian comes out next year at some point if they ever get off their butts and stick to a release date. So, I only have two categories left, and the next one is fantasy, and like I said earlier, this one is kind of cheating because it's also kind of sci-fi, but in my head I was like, it deserves an award, and so I'm gonna consider it fantasy, because I think it can go either way. It's also kind of dystopian too, so, hate me all you want. And that is Brightly Burning by Alexa Dawn. I wasn't sure if I should do this because this doesn't come out till 2018, this is an ARC. But I loved it so much, and I read it this year, so screw it. This book was amazing. It's a Jane Eyre retelling, set in outer space, and it was everything. It's 400 something pages, and I usually take forever to get through fantasy, but I literally read this, so fast for me. and it was really good. And I'm gonna have to buy a hard copy. That's how much I like it. Okay, and then of course the final category is my favorite book of 2017 overall. It's the beginning of December, so maybe this will change, but I really don't see anything dethroning this. And so my favorite book of 2017, drumroll, My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodi Meadows. I thought I was gonna hate this book, let's be real. Beth was like, you need to read it, you need to read it. And I was like, I'm not into the Tudors, okay? Like, boring. So good. Like, she can say I told you so all she wants with that, because I agree, she totally told me. This book is so good. If you have not read it, you need to pick it up. There's another one coming out next year, I believe, that's My Plain Jane, and I think it takes, who's it by? It might be Jane Eyre. I don't know. This was about, Lady Jane Grey, though, if anybody was wondering.
Day queen.
Yeah, she was queen for, like, very, very, very short time. Like, so I like that they kind of follow history for a little bit, and then they're just like, screw history. Pew! Jane deserves a happy ending. So it was really fun, and I think the narrative really, like, just did it for me, because while it was funny, it's like the little side things that the narrator would put in that made it, like, 5 times funnier. So anyway, if you haven't read it, please, please go read this book. It's so good. Ugh. Anyway. So that's it for this video. That is my 2017 book awards. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave any comments if any of these were your favorite books in a particular category, or what your favorite books were for some of these categories. I'm always looking for book recs, so just let me know. So yeah, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit subscribe for more awesome content, and I'll see you guys next time.